is Jenny with your weekly energy forecast for the week starting June 15th and running through June 21st. If you are new to my channel, I am a practicing shaman and I do energy readings and help people get in touch with their animal spirit guides. I'm not going to say too much at the beginning today. Instead, I will jump straight into the reading and tell you about the tarot card that came up when I tuned into the overall energy for this week. And the card that came up is the Two of Swords. And here you can see a woman who stands with her back to the ocean. Her arms are crossed in front of her heart, and she's holding two swords. These two swords represent a duality within her. It is the duality of her mind and her heart, or you can say the duality of the yang and the yin. This woman has found the balance between the two. You can see that they are raised at the same height and they are crossed there in front of her heart. So she has come to the point where she has integrated this duality in her life. So she has been working on finding the balance between her heart, her emotions, and her intellect and her thoughts. This is a process that will bring tranquility and of course also a greater internal balance. Conflicts that she has in her life will be resolved because of this balance of the two swords. So there are decisions and agreements that either have been or can now be reached. So you can say that this woman represents a sense of healing wisdom. The blindfold that she has before her eyes also tells us that she is now listening to her inner voice and following that inner guidance. She's no longer allowing herself to be distracted by the outside world. If you look closely, you can see here in the background that the moon is waxing. So that means that a new cycle is beginning. She has reached a new beginning in her life. Something new will start for her. As I understand the card this week though, the balance that she represents is not something we as a collective have achieved yet. It is what we are being pushed towards. So it's what we're being asked to aspire for and work towards. We have to have this balance in mind in everything we do. And I am being shown that this needs to be done by listening to the yin energies first of all. So you have to work with the divine feminine again. I talked about that last week too. The reason why this is a time to listen to our heart primarily and to be still and quiet with ourselves instead of a time to charge forward also has to do with an energy portal that opened on June 6th. So far I haven't talked too much about that in my videos. This cosmic energy portal has been opened by a full moon eclipse that happened on June 6th. There are also other things going on in the universe. I don't work too much with astrology. I think I have mentioned that before. But there are other things going on in the universe that have also helped bring about this opening. But it is an energy opening that will fill the universe with transformative light. And this light is pushing us to focus on our soul mission. It is pushing us to clear all past hurts and negativity, to focus on healing, and also on finding the balance. So that's where the two swords come in here. The number 6 at its core means love and harmony. So we are being asked to focus on our soul mission and figure out how we can serve humanity. And this has to be done by working with the divine feminine energy. So by listening to your inner guidance, by listening to your heart. And after that, we can take action. Everything is about balance, and we are experiencing an extreme imbalance in the collective at the moment. In connection to that, I wanted to say to those of you who have a very fiery personality and want to go out there and charge forward and work and protest for change, just remember that there has to be balance in everything. So if you feel a lot of anger, remember that you also need to allow yourself to feel the opposite, and that might be something you need to work on specifically. Similarly, if you are very introspective, that is not enough either. We do need to have action too, to help lift ourselves into this new age that is coming. I always show you the card from the traditional Rider-Waite deck also. And here you can see the same woman, her arms crossed in front of her heart, blindfolded and with the waxing moon. This woman also has a white dress on, so that's another symbol of this new beginning. She's ready to start fresh with a clear slate and see what comes next on her spiritual path. So the crystal I have been guided to work with this week is a stone that I also refer to as one of my balance stones. This is green jade. This is a wonderful crystal to work with for finding balance. That can be concretely in your life, the balance between work and rest. It can also be emotional, the balance between sorrow and joy. There's a lot of sorrow in the collective at the moment for various reasons. A lot of grieving going on. It has to do with all of the deaths from the coronavirus. It has to do with everything that is going on at the moment. So there's a lot of grief out there. This stone can help you find a balance. It can also help you find the balance between anger and happiness. It can even help you create balance in your digestive system. If you've been having stomach upsets because you've been worried, this stone can help. And it can also help with your nervous system and your stress levels. So it can bring about balance there too. Another thing about green jade that I find quite magical is that it has the ability to transform. I have been working with crystals for many years now, and with this particular stone, when it aligns itself with your energy field, it begins to show you patterns in its surface that weren't there before. I don't know if it comes across on the camera, but this particular jade stone of mine has a pattern here on the surface that almost looks like a tree or a tree branch. And that appeared when I began to work with it. I am very attracted to trees. I have been ever since I was a little girl. So that was a way this stone showed me, I want to work with you. I am now your stone. So this particular crystal is quite magical. I have 4 or 5 jade stones and none of them look the same. So a wonderful crystal, a magical stone, and one that can help you with balance. So let's see what messages our spirit guides have for us this week. And I will be working with the Sacred Traveler deck again by Denise Linn. Since we are on this journey towards balance and being pushed in that direction, that deck just felt right to me this week. So let's see what comes up. Here's our first perspective. Our second perspective. our third perspective. So this is interesting. The first card that came up is stepping into power again. That card also appeared in the reading the last time I used this deck. So this card comes up when it's time to take back your power, when it's time to stand in your own light. You can see he is carrying his own lantern there that shines on him, so he's walking in his own light. You can see underneath it says, "You are strong beyond measure." So this card comes up when it's time for you to stand up for yourself. It also comes up as a reminder that you are stronger than you think you are. So if you feel beaten down at the moment, if you feel everything is just too much, this card reminds you that you do have that lantern, that your light shines brightly, and that you can find the power you feel you're missing again. It also comes up when you need to hear that you need to focus on yourself, that you need to figure out what does make my light shine. So this has to do with your inner journey again, just like this card. We need to find that balance. We need to focus on how can we serve humanity. And that is done by rediscovering what exactly that lantern there is. What is your inner light? What is your journey? So time to look inward and focus on that inner journey again. The next card has the exact same message for us. This is called Taking Shelter, and underneath it says, "The answers are within." So this card comes up when it's time for you to retreat, to replenish your inner resources, when you have to think about new ideas for the future. It also comes up if you need to renew your energy, if you need to do a little meditation, or if you need to rest. You can also see that in the image we have a cottage there that is covered in snow, and we have this warm, gentle light shining from the windows and smoke coming from the chimney. That represents the shelter, of course, and also illustrates that it might be time for you to shield yourself a little from the outside world, so that you need to put up a barrier against yourself and everything that is going on. That might simply be too much for you at the moment. It is disrupting your balance. So we need to shield ourselves from the world to achieve this. Think about how much you can take and respect that. If everything is too much for you at the moment, then do something. Alter some little thing in your lifestyle that can help you work towards this balance. If you feel too stressed out, do something you love. Find time for that. Set aside time for that. If we really want to, the day does have an extra hour that we can spend on something we really enjoy. So the last card that came up in this reading is the Abundance card, Infinite Abundance. And underneath it, it says, "Abundance is pouring into your life." So in this reading, Spirit wants to remind us that abundance is there. Even though we feel out of balance, even though we might feel a lot of lack in our world at the moment, that the world is lacking in justice or lacking in resources or lacking in joy, lacking in happiness, abundance is here. In this particular reading, you should think of abundance as connected to your inner life. This is your abundance of ideas, your abundance of light, your abundance of love inside you. Spirit wants to let you know that you have everything you need inside your heart. You just need to get in touch with it. And if you do, this abundance will spread and also give you everything you need in your physical life. So in this reading, think of this as abundance of light. It is directly connected to this lantern here. So the message of this week's reading is all about balance. It has to do with finding the balance between the yin and the yang, the feminine and the masculine, so between your heart and your mind. You do that by trusting that you have that light within you that can shine so brightly that it can light up your entire path. You also do it by shutting out the parts of the outside world that you just can't contain anymore, that is messing with your balance. And you find it by working with your spirit guides so that you can find these answers that lie within. You also find it by trusting in abundance. This is also a card about trust, that Spirit wants us to trust that this abundance is there. So we should not fall into despair because of everything that is going on in our world. We should trust in abundance and that it lies within us. I will also be pulling a card from the Higher Intuition Oracle. So let's see what animal comes up for us this week. Ooh, this is one of my favorite cards. This is the cardinal. Such a beautiful bird. And it's funny, I've seen so many of those birds in the park this week on my walks there. Underneath the card you can see that it says rejoice. So the cardinal spirit also has a message to us about balance. It comes up when it is time for us to feel joy instead of sorrow. Every time you meet the cardinal spirit, this bird is telling you that it is time to spend some extra time on your own happiness. So that ties into what I said before, that the day always has an extra hour you can spend on something you love to do. And it is really important at the moment. In our modern world, we have a tendency to say to ourselves, oh, I need to be productive, I need to work all the time. Well, setting aside time to work on your own happiness is also being productive. You have to remind yourself of that. That's why we have the cardinal this week. The cardinal is also a very bright bird. The male is so beautiful with that bright red color. So this card also comes up when it is time to add some color to your life. And you can do that in many ways. Wear colorful clothes, surround yourself with colorful things, look at images of colorful flowers, go for a walk in nature and set the intention to look for color. You'll be surprised what might come up. If you have ever heard the song of the cardinal, that is very sweet, but also strong and clear. It's a voice that demands attention. So the cardinal spirit also has a message to you about trusting your own inner light, about trusting your own voice and using it to rejoice. Trusting in your own voice is not about ego, it is about confidence. So it's about believing that you have that light, that music inside your heart. So the cardinal will come to us when life has been chaotic and we might have lost sight of the beauty of it all. I'm so happy this is the animal card for this week. Finally, I have to tell you about the herb or flower this time that we have depicted in this card, and that is the passion flower. The spiritual quality of this flower also has to do with promoting inner peace. It can help bring peace to your heart. As an herbal medicine, it has a very calming effect. But this week, it is primarily about working with the beauty of this flower. meditating with images of a passion flower can be quite mesmerizing. It can be a little like meditating with a mandala, if you have ever done that. So see if you can use some images of this passion flower in your meditations this week. It is also a flower that can talk to us about being vulnerable. There's a certain gentleness about its petals. So a flower that can help you get in touch with your heart and thereby with your inner light. So that was the reading for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like a private reading with me, please write the email that you see in the video description or visit my Etsy shop. I wish you a wonderful, colorful week, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!